Hello and welcome to the 1000 Author Show. I am Vicky Quinn and this is my husband, Joe Fraser.
Hello.
Hello. Are you okay?
I am.
Good. It's just that you were just quite upset about various aspects of your hair.
Well, it's just, I need a haircut. And we're in lockdown and I can't do anything about it, so I've just got big, floofy hair.
Oh, it's really cute though.
It just sticks out all over the place.
Also, he's just spent like 5 minutes going, oh my god, am I going bald? This is like further away than it used to be.
It's further away than it used to be, I'm sure.
You're not going bald. Look, I look like a Vulcan. I looked like a Vulcan yesterday.
Nice.
Except my fringe is a bit sweepy today. Yesterday it was very...
Yeah, you need a straighter fringe and pointier ears. Even more pointy ears.
And Botox, for my lack of expression.
Yes. And a considerably more logical approach.
I have a very logical approach. How very dare you? How very dare you?
No. Don't do that.
Why?
It's not the 60s anymore. Can't do that.
I can do whatever I like.
Okay.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about people like us do things like this, which is a line I totally swiped from Seth Godin.
Okay.
You may have swiped it from somebody else. I've had trouble with my words today. I was calling Mike Mark earlier. Hi, Mike. And I said, I was like, that's going to stick. What are we reading? Joe, what are you reading at the moment?
I am reading the final book of the Wheel of Time series.
Thank God.
It is book 14. It is 900 pages.
Oh my God.
And it's, yes, I'm quite looking forward to not having any more of these books to read. I'm
Me too. I'm looking forward to...
It's been great, but...
I'm looking forward to asking you this question and you being like, I'm reading something that isn't the Wheel of Time. It's going to be great. I am reading two books as per usual, at least two. Actually, I'm reading 3 books, but only 2 that I'm going to talk about. The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, and that is the sequel to The Name of the Wind, which we've both read and was brilliant. This is also a 900-page book. I'm just over halfway through, and I'm really enjoying it.
See, I feel like you're taking a lot longer on this second book than you did on the first book, and therefore I'm assuming it's not as good.
It is as good, but it's a much bigger book, which is why it's taken me longer.
Okay.
I read like 200 pages in one go on Sunday.
Sunday was not a very active day, was it?
We plastered. We lime plastered.
We did do some lime plastering.
I did lime plastering. My shoulders are really aching, but I think that's because I did handstands for quite a long time yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of both. I'm also reading non-fiction. I'm reading Out on the Wire by Jessica Abel, which is great. And it's all about storytelling and how Ira Glass and This American Life and the team put their radio stories together for their podcast.
Right.
And it's really good. It's loads of really useful stuff in there already. But it's also a good book because it's comic strip form, because Jessica Abel is a comic drawer, comic artist. Comic drawer?
Comic drawer.
A comic graphic artist.
Graphic art. Yeah.
No.
What are they? What are those people?
Cartoonist. She's a cartoonist. I think she describes herself as a cartoonist. Yeah.
I'm
Anyway,
not
it's a
sure
really
you could
good book.
describe people who put Spider-Man comics together as cartoonists, because they're more serious than that, aren't they?
Well, I don't know. If you're a cartoonist or graphic artist and you're angry with me right now, write in and explain why.
Yes.
And
correct our language, please.
Yes, correct our language. Anyway, it's a really good book. I'm really enjoying it. It's a really good explanation of storytelling and...
Is there actually much reading to do, though? I mean, is there...
Yeah.
Because I've got to admit, if I picked it off the shelf and gone, it's full of cartoons, I probably would have put it back on the shelf and picked something else.
Well, I may have done that as well, which is why I'm really glad that, because I didn't realise what the book... I just had heard of the book, and I like books on storytelling.
I mean, Vicky basically just buys books.
True.
If somebody publishes a book, Vicky buys it. That's what happens.
But the reason I wanted it is because it says the storytelling secrets of the new masters of radio, you see, and that's why I was interested, because I was like, well, I want to read about that. Did not realise it was a comic book, a graphic non-novel. Oh my god! See, I need to come up with some vocabulary for it. Didn't realise I probably wouldn't have done had I known that, but I'm really glad I did because I'm really enjoying it.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, as a slight aside, Vicky buys so many books that she actually suggested insulating our house with them the other day.
No. What I said was, I need to clarify this. Joe was talking about insulating the house, which I'm all on board with because I'm really sick of being cold. But what we were talking about was what should we do in the Rayburn room, which is going to become the library, which is not going to be as grand as that makes it sound. It's just going to be a stone room lined with.
It's going to be the quarter of our house we give over to storing Vicky's books,
which is reasonable. Oh my god. Anyway, but I was like, all of those books will insulate. They will insulate that room. They will. Joe's making a sceptical face right now, but
I'm not sure we should really, treat books as insulation.
I'm not treating books as insulation. I'm just saying that will be a function of having a room lined with bookshelves. Anyway, moving swiftly on. This is my first proper week back, because last week I was having a planning week. This week I'm having a working week. I'm still at half throttle though. I'm not crushing 2021. I'm not killing it. I am not busting myself trying to meet an entire year's worth of goals in January, because frankly, fuck that shit.
No 10xing.
No 10xing. I'm 0.1xing. No, 0.0. I don't.
No. 1 point.
1.1.
Something.
Yeah, because we've had this conversation, but I'm not going backwards. We're 1.1xing.
Okay.
Yeah. Tiny beetle steps.
More sustainable.
Sustainable growth rather than a slow and steady decline.
Yes. Well, it wouldn't be
slow.
slow.
It wouldn't.
0.1xing would be bad.
It would be very bad,
Very
and it would
bad.
compound very quickly. But, now I've got my maths right, 1.1xing. Also, really cool. Tiny, tiny beetle steps, all compounding into big stuff. Which is kind of also what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. But before that, I just wanted to be like, okay, so everyone was like, yay, 2020 is like going to be great. 2021, screw 2021. 2020 was a horrible. Have I just like
You've gone completely the wrong way around.
I've gone completely the wrong way around. I'm going backwards.
Don't go back. Don't go back to 2020.
Don't go back to
please.
2020. Oh my god. But that was the thing. It's like 2020 was rubbish, right? In many ways.
Yes.
It was also really good in many ways. But generally, it was a bit of a shit show for the world. And so everyone was like, yay, 2021. And we're like 2 weeks into 2021, and 2021's like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, we're back in lockdown again. Lockdown the third. Which,
Yay.
to be fair, everyone saw coming.
Yes.
But it's still miserable because it's January. And
at least you could lie in the garden last time.
yeah, and the Capitol building in Washington DC got stormed by white supremacist terrorists. It's like, what? The actual. But
Mental, isn't it?
again, that was something that we could all see coming, because the orange toddler has been inciting that kind of bullshit for the last 4 years, and so there's been a lot of well, we all saw this coming kind of thing. And it's like, if you didn't see it coming, you didn't have your eyes open, which I tend to agree with. But what I wanted to say about that was, words are important, and I said a really important word there, three really important words: white supremacist terrorists, right? Really important to call a thing what it is. And really important to look at how stuff is being reported and how we're being manipulated by the media, and how white supremacy is underlying a lot of the stuff that we're seeing right now. And it's like, let's have a look at how the Black Lives Matter protests were reported in the summer. They were described as riots. The people involved were described as violent rioters. It never became violent until the police met peaceful protests with tear gas and rubber bullets. How was the storming of the Capitol described?
It's a protest, wasn't it? Perfectly sensible political protest.
Which is just like, no, those people...
The police were like, come on through, it'll be fine.
Which is, yeah, and if you look at pictures of how the Black Lives Matter protests were met versus pictures of how the storming of the Capitol were met, really inept storming of the Capitol, but that's not the point. And it's just really important that we notice how this stuff is being reported. And also, the Black Lives Matter protests were wanting to be actually treated like a human being and not to be shot, versus trying to violently overturn a democratically elected, a democratic election process. Those two, and the false equivalency that is brought by racists drives me absolutely up the wall, because it's like, oh, well, destroying property, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, A, that happened after the police incited the riots, and B, they're kind of fighting for their right to be treated like actual human beings. Whereas the white supremacists were butthurt because their orange toddler lost the election.
Yeah.
And that's a massive simplification of the whole process, but it's a good place to start if you're looking at the media and how it's reported. So yeah, I just wanted to make that point because, what can I do with my platform? Not an awful lot, but I can point out that it's really important to pay attention to how this stuff is written about and spoken about, and the words that we use and the ideas that we put forward.
I am I agree with you. I'm really enjoying. Have you seen the sort of 2-frame images of here's a picture of somebody in the Capitol building stealing a podium, having a great time, nice Wednesday out, big party, and then the next picture is them wearing orange in front of a board with the name up, and clearly being taken pictures by the police.
Yeah.
I really enjoy, and they're popping up quite regularly now. There's quite a lot of them, and people trying to fly home from Washington. Discovering,
they're on a no-fly list.
They're on a no-fly list, and they're like a white middle-class woman. It's like, what's going on? This shouldn't happen to me.
Consequences. But again, it's like the FBI looking for these people, and they're asking for help. And it's like they identified people attending Black Lives Matter protests from an Etsy purchase they made. Come on, people. This is the difference, and this is like, okay, so all that you just said is true, and it's funny, and it's should be happening, but it's just like. That's the difference. That's the difference in treatment that we enjoy as white people that black people do not enjoy, and it's really important to understand that. It's like I don't want the police to start shooting white people. Fucking hell, no, of course I don't. I want the police to stop shooting black people. It's like that shouldn't be an unreasonable thing to, like, even the very fact that I'm saying it is like, what am I? Why do I even have to say this? It's insane. So, and it started because of history and because of the systems that we live in, and so that's all I'm going to say on that for now. But people like us do things like this, which is also a reason that I've been talking about this, is that I want to be surrounded by people who believe that Black Lives Matter, frankly, and who don't want to live in a white supremacist patriarchy. That's it. But we can also, turning that around to writing and writing books and things, we can also use that message for that, because if you want to get stuff done, it's a really good idea to be surrounded by people who are going to help you do that and lift you up. So we'll come to that in a moment. But last week we talked about just getting started.
Yes.
And how you can start anywhere, and you should start anywhere. You should start where you want to start. This week I want to take that a little bit further and talk about the power of inertia, which is the most powerful force in the known universe. I'm not sure it really is, but it's an incredibly powerful thing.
Not a physicist. Not a physicist.
Amateur physicist. Done a bit of it. But inertia is an incredibly powerful thing. It's like, when you think about taking a rocket from the surface of the Earth to just literally a few miles into
11 kilometres is space. What you need.
11 kilometres is what you need.
Hang on, 11 kilometres a second?
11 kilometres a second, yeah. Anyway, when you see those the big rockets, the vast majority of that rocket is fuel, is a fuel cell. And the vast majority of that fuel, you'll see when they exit the atmosphere, they jettison that because all of that fuel has been spent getting out of the Earth's atmosphere. That's kind of a good analogy for starting something. Like anything, starting a new project.
Getting off the ground is the hard bit.
But it is though, isn't it? Because it's like we were talking about this the other day, and how you were like, oh, it's really cold. And it was really cold in the house because my office is nice and warm. And you were like, oh... And I came in and this is going to make it sound like I'm nagging. I'm not nagging at you, but I was like, oh, how have you got on today? What have you done today? He was like, oh, I didn't do the plastering.
Hidden under a blanket with a book and a cat.
But when you did the plastering, you warmed up because you were doing physical stuff, and suddenly it's like, oh, and this happened on Sunday as well, because like on Sunday we were like, okay, let's plaster a couple of panels, and I wanted to do some because I wanted it to be my work as well. But we sat there for ages on the sofa being like, oh, we'll go and do it in a minute, we're going to start in a minute. As soon as we got started, we just did it. Like the whole thing took, 45 minutes, an hour or two? It's the getting started that's the hard part. It really, really is. And it's the same for writing as well. I will sit here and stare at my feet rather than start writing something. As soon as I start writing, I will really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you find that with plastering and stuff as well?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, not that I professionally plaster, but...
You do a really good job.
I can stick mud to the wall, kind of.
But that's the thing, that's the really great thing about lime plaster though. You can literally just throw... I mean, I did a good job.
I mean, to be fair, our house doesn't have a straight edge in it. There are no 90-degree angles. Everything is wonky. Everything's at a funny tilt to everything else. No walls are straight anywhere. And all the walls are handily broken up into these, 4-foot square panels. So you just plaster a panel.
Yeah. And if you screw it up, it's okay, because you can kind of either scrape it off and start again, or just put a bit more on. And it's really cool.
Until your walls are that big.
And it's really well insulated. But again, really good analogy for writing your shitty first draft. It's like, it doesn't have to. The thing that stopped me from starting, do you remember? I just sat there and dithered. Because I was just like, I don't know what to do, and it needs to be proper, and it needs to be perfect. And then you were like, I was like, show me. So you did a bit, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's fine.
I can do that.
I can do that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be on there because we can put a nice layer on in a couple of weeks when it's dried out.
It's only first, what do they call it?
Yeah. So bonus analogy there. Writing shitty first drafts is a bit like lime plastering a house.
As long as your house is wonky and you don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to like plaster a stately home in that fashion. They wouldn't want us to plaster a stately home.
No. Farmer cottages, we could do that.
Yeah. Anyway, that leads me on to big movement, big things versus tiny beetle steps. Because like it's really overwhelming to think I have to plaster the whole house, but then we think, oh, we can plaster that one panel. It's really overwhelming to think I need to dismantle the patriarchy and white supremacy, but it's not so overwhelming to think I can just cull stuff out. I can explain how to look at the media and how it's being reported. And when it comes to writing a book, it's really overwhelming to think I can write a book, but to think I can just write my thoughts down about this thing, and that's a good place to start. So yeah. And it's the same when it's like we're building habits and momentum, right? The power of getting started. It's like rolling down the hill. You start with a little snowball, you push it a little bit, and then it rolls and rolls and rolls, and suddenly you've got an avalanche that destroys everything in its wake. That's what writing your book should be like. But the things that it destroys are all of your objections and your procrastination and your imposter syndrome and obstacles and things like that. It shouldn't destroy like your whole world.
Like your income or your family or anything.
No. Or your health. Should be a fun avalanche.
Avalanche of fun.
An avalanche of fun. Why?
Stretching that analogy somewhat.
I think that's a great analogy. How very dare you. Anyway, but I wanted to make this even easier for you because doing any of these things on your own is nigh on impossible.
It is difficult.
Really difficult. Nothing amazing was ever created like in isolation, I don't think. So how do we do it? We find really cool people to help us. We find a group of people who are doing the thing that we want to do, and then they lift us up. So like finding writing groups, find a writing group, maybe a local writing group, although I think they're a bit snobby. I've heard horror stories. One of my friends said that she was rejected from a local writing group, and I think she probably dodged a bullet there. But I was like, wow, okay.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So yeah, find a group of people who will welcome you if you want to do something awesome. Yeah? Because there are people out there.
They took a vote and decided not to let her in.
Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So bullet dodged, but I do understand that must have been pretty hurtful. So don't be that person. If you've got a writing group, don't be like that.
Veto writers.
Yeah, be inclusive, dudes. Don't use the word dudes either. I need to stop using that kind of gendered language. It's really annoying. People. Fellow human beings.
I think you just sound like a robot overlord taking over.
I am a robot.
Hello, fellow humans.
I'm a Vulcan.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, remember that we are the sum of the people we spend the most time with, right? We will either be lifted up to a higher level of being with octaves of sunshine, or we will be dragged down to other people's level. Which, by the way, is why I quite like my echo chamber. I don't want to be drip-fed poison on Facebook, and I don't want to be it's why I avoid a lot of local networking meetings. I know that not all networking meetings are like this, but my experience with them has been that they are full of people who are full of woe and scarcity and looking for an excuse not to do stuff.
Yes, everything's terrible.
And but that has been my experience. I would much rather find a group of people who are like, I don't know how to do this yet, but I'm going to find out. Can you help me? Which is a much better way to be. So I want to be drip-fed brilliance and inspiration, which is why I surround myself with people who are much smarter and more driven than I am. That's why I married Joe. And it's why my team Moxie are full of such amazing people, because even though I've put that group together to help other people, I've also put it together to help me. I want to be lifted by those people. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, and I'm far from the smartest person in that room. So that's great, and it's like people have got different skills and expertise in different areas, which is just brilliant. So that was my way of saying, join a group that will lift you up and help you and support you and build your writing habit, and not knock you down and not do any of the things that are going to stop you from writing. Find an environment that encourages you to do the work that you want to do, and write the stuff that you want to write. And if you would like to come and have a taste of my Team Moxie, then save the date of Tuesday, January the 26th. Because at 10 p.m. until 2 a.m, we're doing the UK's first ever Right Night.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool. It's going to be a party atmosphere. You can wear your I'm going to be wearing my pajamas, right? Because that's way past my bedtime. I'm going to have my bottle of Prosecco, which is non-alcoholic Prosecco, because that's my party drink. What?
Nothing.
I don't drink. I like bubbles. And you can drink whatever you like. If you want to drink gin, you go for it. If you want to drink tea, you go for it. If you don't want to drink anything, that's fine. If you want to wear a ball gown, that's fine. But we're going to meet at about 9:30, 9:45 to have a little welcome, drinkies, snacks, little bit of music. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to set our intentions and our goals. It's like, what do you want to achieve over this 4-hour sprint?
Cool.
And I've split it down into sprints. So we're going to do 45-minute writing sessions. In between, I'm going to do little creativity boosts to get you moving. I'm probably also going to run to the loo, because I'm going to need to wee at some point. And we're going to do little, it's going to be a party, guys.
Okay.
In the middle, right in smack bang in the middle of the 4-hour sprint, we're going to have a little 20-minute session where you can ask anything. You can ask me questions, you can ask the rest of the group questions. If you've got an idea you're not sure is working, bounce that off people, and we're going to get you unstuck. You're stuck on something, we'll get you unstuck.
Cool.
Oh my god, I'm really hungry. That was my stomach telling me that half a bagel is not enough for breakfast, which it's not. And then at the end of the 4-hour Right Night, we're going to come together and be like, have we achieved our goals? What have we done? We can show off what we've done. And there will be prizes for the best pyjamas, possibly the best dressing gown, because I have it on good authority that someone who's going to be there has got a Harry Potter dressing gown, which makes me so happy. And possibly prizes for the best hat, because I know Julian said he was going to wear a hat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there are going to be silly prizes, but there are also going to be serious prizes for, have you achieved what you wanted to set out to do? And it's going to be, I'm really, really excited about this. It's 4 hours, a group of amazing people. You're going to get to meet Team Moxie, and it's only £99 plus VAT where applicable.
Cool.
So if you are interested in that, then you need to check the show notes underneath this, or you need to drop me an email, vicky@vickyfraser.com, because the sales page is not up yet, as I'm recording. Actually, do you know what? I think it might be up. Hang on a minute. Wait.
Hang on just 1 minute.
Wait just one cotton picking minute. I think Harriet did it for me yesterday because she's amazing.
Hi, Harriet.
Hi, Harriet. So, bear with me while I open... Joe, talk amongst yourself.
4 hours, getting stuff done. 100 quid.
Why would you want to do it?
Why would you want to do it?
Yeah.
Well, build momentum. Get the start done. Get the planning done.
Get a big chunk of something done.
Get a big chunk of something done. Start moving.
Maybe finish something. If you've been stuck on something for ages, maybe come and crack on with it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. moxiebooks.co.uk/... I'm going to get to change this. Moxiebooks Right Night.
With hyphens.
Nah, I think I'm going to get to change it to take the hyphens out.
Moxiebooks Right Night.
Possibly just Right Night, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to have moxiebooks.co.uk/Right Night. Spelled properly. So yeah, come join us. Tuesday, January 26th. Tuesday, January 26th. 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. You will get all of the information in plenty of time. And yeah. Coming up next week, we're going to talk about setting a very specific goal, and why that's important, and working on it to the exclusion of all else. But in the meantime, I reckon we'll do a quick author shout out for one of my clients, Kenda. Hi, Kenda.
Hi, Kenda.
Who is awesome. And she wrote a book last year. No, it wasn't last year. It was 2019, but I feel like 2020 didn't happen. So it kind of was last year. It feels like last year. She wrote a really cool book called Hack the Buyer Brain.
Deshine it.
Deshine it. There we go. Which you can get. I don't know if you can get it from Amazon. I hope you can. Sort it out, Kenda, if you can't. But you can certainly get it from her website, which is...
Available in the show notes.
Available in the show notes. I think if you go to hackthebuyerbrain.com. But Kenda is super smart. She has a psychology degree. She really knows how people's brains work, and that is what this book is all about. It's digging into how people's brains work and helping them to just solve problems and make the right buying decisions. It's not about manipulating people into buying.
It's not about bending jelly brains into purchasing your shit. No. It's about helping the buyer make the right decisions, and deciding whether your thing is the thing they want.
Yes. Anyway, so go check out Kenda's book. But in the meantime, make sure you go and sign up for Right Nights. You don't want to miss it. I only do these every 3 months. This is the first one. I'm going to only do them every 3 months because I can't cope with that much like bedtime taken away from me. Yeah, it's going to be a really, 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 really cool event.
And is it available to Americans?
Yeah, probably won't be right night for Americans, but yeah.
Okay.
It's available for anyone.
Available for anyone.
Who wants to achieve a piece of writing.
But it's in UK time.
It's in UK time, yes. If you're looking if you've got a vague idea and you're thinking, oh, I'd quite like to come and do the Write Night, but I'm not sure of the idea, then hey, I have something to help you with that. I have a new mini course out called the Big Book Idea Generator, which you can find at moxiebooks.co.uk/big-book-idea-generator. I need to really get better at making URLs.
And decide whether they have hyphens or not.
Yeah, whatever. And I also have a new audiobook out. You can find it on Audible. That's what she said. It's already getting a bit of buzz. It's already getting good reviews and things. Although somebody left me a 2-star review and I cried a bit yesterday. They didn't actually put a review. They just marked it 2 stars.
Weak.
I'm like, whatever. So if you've listened to That's What She Said already and you loved it, please go and rate it like 5 stars. That would be amazing. And leave a review. That would be really cool. If you've listened to every episode of this podcast, you lunatic, email me with your postal address and I will send you something silly to say thank you. And if you like this podcast, please go and subscribe and rate us and review us.
Nice.
We'd really appreciate it, wouldn't we, Joe?
We would.
And we'll read your review out and we'll read your website out and we'll big you up. Even if you leave us a crap review. Might not big you up quite so much, but we'll read it out. Very much. We'll read it out though. I think that's that.
Cool.
Thanks, Joe.
No worries.
We'll be back at the same time next week. Stay safe, be good, and have fun.
Bye.